Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm excited about today's video. I had the opportunity to visit the Louis Vuitton Nike Air Force 1 Virgil Abloh exhibit in Brooklyn, New York, and it did not disappoint. So hang out with me for a minute. I'll walk you through the entire exhibit, show you all 47 pairs of kicks and more. But before I do, I ask that you please like and subscribe if you're feeling the content. It would really go a long way for my channel. Okay, let's get started. Like most fans of sneaker culture and art, I was super pumped when I heard that Louis Vuitton was planning to display all 47 pairs of their Virgil Abloh Air Force 1s to the public. I've seen so much buzz about these online and heard stories about people paying over $300,000 per pair, so I had to see them for myself. I'm fascinated by this collab on multiple levels. For one, it's one of the last things Virgil did before he passed. Also, I love creative marketing and innovative design, but it's also a collab between not only one of my favorite silhouettes, the Air Force 1, but two of my favorite brands, Louis Vuitton and Nike. So it goes without saying, but everything about this show was right up my alley. Sadly, these are going to be almost impossible to score without thousands of dollars in your pocket, but it doesn't mean you can't soak it all in and enjoy them from afar. From my perspective, when will I ever get to see this many instant classics presented to the world at the exact same time? What's ironic about this collab is, growing up, it was a common thing on Canal Street in New York to see fake Nikes with Louis Vuitton patterns on them. Or go uptown to Harlem where guys like Dapper Dan were stitching Gucci and Louis patterns to Air Force Ones long before any of this. But now, all of a sudden, it's not only a mainstream thing, but this, quote, bootleg style of kicks is a high fashion international thing. That's crazy when you think about it, and it's guys like Virgil that made it possible. So after a short drive to Brooklyn, the first thing I saw when I pulled up was a huge orange statue dripped all in Louis Vuitton doing a handstand. It's pretty dope, and it made a great photo op. There was no charge at the door, and they gave me a handout with a LV Nike visual on one side and the complete list of kicks on the other. The kicks are displayed all over the place on the walls and tabletops. Some were mounted over 10 feet high, so you couldn't always get a good look at them, and each one was assigned a number and its own 3D hologram. These little holograms were cool. They looked like a bunch of NFTs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were. The room was completely covered in LED floor panels, lots of cloud patterns on the walls, mirrors, and a treehouse in the back. More about that in a minute. I really wanted to shoot each sneaker in the order it was displayed on the sheet, but that would have been close to impossible. There was a lot of people in the space, everybody was filming, and the numbers were scattered all over the venue. That said, I think I managed to film them all, and I'll try my best to show you each one. At the end of this video, I'll give you my top 5 picks. As I walked around, this experience felt more like an art exhibit than a sneaker exhibit. They even had a gesture control experience where you put your hands in front of a sensor and by waving it, you can rotate the sneakers. If you pull your hands apart, it will deconstruct the shoe and expose all the panels. It's cool and I respect the effort, but they could have taken it so much further. And the display screen was very dim. You could only really appreciate it if you were standing directly in front of it, so onlookers to the side really only saw a blank screen. Something else I learned that was really lame was all the people working the event had on all white or all black LV sweatpants and t-shirts. They looked nice, but one of the workers told me they have to give the clothes back when the job is done. Not cool, Louis Vuitton. Not cool at all, especially considering what it costs you to make them. Come on. Now back to the kicks. I wasn't a fan of all the colorways, but I will say I liked almost all of them for one reason or another. Some I wasn't expecting to like, but when I saw them in person, it was completely different. For example, number 35, these purple and yellow Lakers high tops. Typically not my style at all, but there is no denying how fire these are. Not sure if you could tell on camera, but these are like a smooth pressed suede and it looks like 2 shoes in one. It's like someone stuck a high top inside of a low. Even when you look all the way into the shoe, you can't really tell where one starts and the other ends. Major props to Virgil and his team for making this happen, but I'm curious what these feel like on feet. I wonder if they're comfortable or if someone could actually ball in them. Maybe one of the Lakers will buy a pair and wear them on court. Doubtful, but it would be cool to see. Another pair that surprised me was number 3. In pics, they're whatever, but in person, they were pure fire. They look like a nod to the old Kanye West Louis Vuitton Jaspers, and they just look great in person. Working your way to the back, they had that treehouse I mentioned, complete with a tree and tire swing. There was a line to get in, but it moved quickly. Once you get up the spiral staircase, you see what they told me was Virgil's actual DJ equipment. That's pretty cool. Below that, they displayed a bunch of cut materials, also cool. There was a mood board on the wall, kind of showing behind the scenes of Virgil's creative process. There was also a big display screen, but the most interesting thing in the treehouse was this large propped up Louis trunk that contained additional pairs and by far the weirdest pair of the pack, number 15. It's a big, fluffy, tie-dyed poof ball. I'm almost certain this is a faux fur, and believe it or not, there's an Air Force 1 under there. I'm not sure why it's shaved down on the sheet, but full grown in the display case. Either way, it's weird and not something I could ever pull off. More than any of the shoes I saw upstairs, I was mostly feeling this giant Louis trunk. I don't know where I would ever put it, but it would be an amazing piece to own. They rushed us out of the treehouse pretty quickly for the next group, so we went back down. Overall, it was a fun and interesting experience. Now, as I promised, I'll quickly run you through my top 5 personal picks, counting down to my favorite. Coming in at number 5, I picked 19. It's a clean white Air Force One mid with the Louis Vuitton step and repeat pressed into it. So clean, so subtle, and definitely one of the standouts in my opinion. At number 4, I picked 18. Same as the mids, but in low tops, clean, subtle, and just so perfect. Note to any designers watching this, you don't always have to try so hard, and sometimes less is more. For my number 3 pick, I chose number 3, those Jasper style lows. These are busy and loud, but with the right fit, I know I could pull these off. My number 2 pick was 6. This is just too crazy not to be on my list. Multiple patterns, exposed, foam tongues, and that sneaker inside a sneaker thing. No question I would wear these. Finally, my top pick of the lot, hands down, is number 39. It's so obvious, but there's a reason why it's obvious. Just look at it. This is a dream, or at least it is for me. This is the Air Force One I've always imagined. The color blocking, the piping, the laces, the midsole. It's unapologetically over the top, and I love it. This is a shoe I think I could put into heavy rotation without ever really showing too much wear. If I could only pick one pair, it would be these without hesitation. Honorable mention has to go to number 5, the all-black mids. I know what you're thinking, but trust me, if you saw these in person, you would agree. Also, number 14 has to get mentioned. They added a blurred neon effect to the Louis pattern on the toe box, and it's like nothing I've ever seen. I can't leave out number 41, the UNC blue pair. Just clean, simple, and classic. These could be daily wears, and you can't go wrong. Finally, number 35, the Lakers highs. Not sure if I could pull these off, but they're just so fly I had to call them out. In conclusion, this was the absolute perfect storm for me. I love art and design, I love sneakers, I love Louis Vuitton, I love Nike, and I love Air Force Ones. I have mad respect for Virgil and everything he's contributed to fashion and sneaker culture. I could have stayed there all day, just looking at all the materials and little details that went into these works of art. Let me know in the comments what pair is your favorite, I'd love to know. Anyway, that's my video on the new Virgil Abloh Louis Vuitton Nike Air Force One collection. I had so much fun making this video and I hope you liked it. If you did, I ask that you please click the like button, please subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on my latest vids. You could also check me out on Instagram at E21Life. I'm always posting random stuff there. As always, I thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe, everyone. Peace. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly, yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies, all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting on bed like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else, yeah. I had to set them straight, yeah. I had to boss, so I had to renovate, I know. They hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah. I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate